Want to mention that part. Now, this story is by Entertainment Tonight, um, which is also a white media source, okay? But you're going to notice a big difference in their presentation and their use of these sound bites than what was used in the other Culture Vulture thing. Now, Tina said the same thing. I can remember getting on a plane and this white woman said, "How could you let him marry her? Blah, blah, blah," right? Now, black people seem to have grabbed that from the other one and felt like it supported the fact that Tina Knowles was concerned because, a white woman was concerned and a white woman didn't approve of their relationship. So there must be something wrong, right? Because if white people aren't accepting of it, then it must not be okay. I'm going to start it over again now so y'all can hear this thing in context.
I can remember getting on a plane and an older white woman saying, "Oh, your son is a gangster rapper, right? How did you let him marry your daughter?"
Tina Knowles Lawson is sharing a telling personal story.
Tina, my mouth fell open when you gave that example.
Speaking with Gayle King on CBS Mornings, the mother of Beyonce and Solange discussed her latest project, Profile the Black Man.
That's the narrative. I felt threatened. I felt afraid. If they got on handcuffs, they're still a threat because they're a black man.
The morning show aired a clip from the upcoming docuseries where Tina described this memorable encounter.
Did y'all know about this documentary? Please put a 1 in the chat if before this conversation that you and I are having right now, if you knew about this documentary, if you'd ever heard of it. Give me a 1 in the chat. I'm not going to do it like Jaguar, right? I'm going to give you another option. Give me a 0 in the chat if you've never heard of this project before right now. Please. I don't beg you for much. I'm going to need your feedback on this one. If you knew this project was happening prior to this conversation, please give me a 1. If this is the very first time you've ever heard about this project, please give me a 0. And you see now why I'm upset. I'm going to start it over again because I think it's so important.
I can remember getting on a plane and an older white woman saying, "Oh, your son is a gangster rapper, right? How did you let him marry your daughter?"
Tina Knowles Lawson is sharing a telling personal story.
Tina, my mouth fell open when you gave that example.
Speaking with Gayle King on CBS Mornings, the mother of Beyonce and Solange discussed her latest project, Profile the Black Man.
That's the narrative. I felt threatened. I felt afraid. If they got on handcuffs, they're still a threat because they're a black man.
The morning show aired a clip from the upcoming docuseries where Tina described this memorable encounter.
Watch this.
I can remember getting on a plane and an older white woman saying, "Oh, your son is a gangster rapper, right?"
Now, I'm interrupting this for a moment because this shit is some bullshit. It's so important to go to the source of what was said in the full context. That's something I learned when I was in seminary. Don't never let nobody give you no scripture and tell you what it is. You read what was before and you read what was after and find out what that thing really, really, really means. Media is powerful at editing and changing what people say to make them say what they want you to hear. Now, so far, we see that this woman has a documentary she's releasing about the profile of the black man and the stigmas that black men face in this country. Now, I'm going to ask you this question before we continue because I'm rude and ignorant. Do you think she was talking about Jay-Z controlling Beyonce when she had those sound bites on that other story? Now that you know she's got this documentary coming out. If you still do, that's cool, because you could. But do you think so? Let this continue. I'm sorry for interrupting you.
"How did you let him marry your daughter?" And it was just shocking to me. And I said, "No, actually, my son is a CEO."
What was her response? Was she like, "Oh, I'm worried because I think he's drugging my daughter"? No, she said, "No, bitch. Actually, my son is a CEO. Actually, my son makes more money than your son could think about, dream about, meditate on, manifest, imagine." My son got money oozing out of his cufflinks. He's a fucking CEO. No, he ain't no gangster rapper. Yes or no? Yes or no? Somebody tell me, what did the woman say? Did the woman say, "Oh, white woman, I'm so sorry that my son in law has not met your approval and your stereotype of what a successful man should be? Oh, white woman, I'm so sorry that you don't accept our family, white woman. Massa, I apologize that my daughter married that nigga, Massa." No. Did Tina Knowles say she was concerned about her son drugging and controlling her daughter? Now y'all heard what the fuck the whole, and I cut it off. We haven't even finished it yet, but I couldn't keep it. You heard the context in which she said what she said now. Just a couple more words before and a couple more words after, and you see she said something completely different. If I'm lying right now, put a pig in the chat. If I'm not lying right now, put some angel wings in the chat. Let's get this baby together. Go ahead.
She didn't think of him as a CEO or even a talented celebrity that, was a great businessman.
Following the clip, Tina shared what she took away from the experience.
At that time, I remember thinking, I can't be mad at her because that is what the media portrays.
Tina, my mouth fell open when you gave that example because I'm thinking, and then you followed up by saying, "I'm not even mad at her." How are you not mad?
I sat there and I thought about how the media portrays Black men and how that is typical of the things that they would focus on. Uneducated gangster rapper, that's all she could come up with.
Tina hopes her new project helps
You tell me. Because we're going to go back and watch it again. That was only 1 minute and 35 seconds. Okay? Every single thing Tina Knowles said was also in that other video. Everything Tina just said here but it was all put together. And there were other things that were included. That woman never said she was worried about her son-in-law drugging and controlling her daughter. She never said it. It's not in sentiment that she's ever expressed. As a matter of fact, when it was placed before her that her daughter might not be in the right relationship, she defended her son-in-law because she saw it as a racial stereotype. Don't nobody have no problem with no white men being in control in their relationships. Nobody ever has a problem with white men being in control and having a hierarchy in their relationships. But when a black man does it, now he's controlling. Now he's controlling. Now somebody tell me, because we're going to watch this again. It's only 1 minute and 35 seconds. And Jay wasn't never no gangster rapper. Never. Listen, I know Jay-Z's music. I just finished listening. Was it The Blueprint? The first one? I was listening to the whole album the other day. Jay-Z was never a gangster rapper. Jay-Z always rapped about money. He rapped about selling drugs, but only just a little bit. Like, he never talked about no real gangster shit. He said, "I never went to jail." I mean, he was never a gangster rapper. See, because to white people, a black rapper is a gangster rapper. There's nothing in between. There's nothing in between. There's no in between. What is a gangster rapper anyway? Okay, that wasn't a phrase or term that was ever created by us. It was just rap. We didn't create that. I mean, a gangster was rapping. It was a nigga that was in the streets making music about his life. But we have to understand how much we want white people's approval that we would even let. She didn't allow that to be said. But for some reason, when she said, I've seen other people cover this. And when she said a white woman said it, all of a sudden it became important and true. Because this white woman said, Jay-Z, that's all she could get. And she got you thinking about Jay-Z. And I'm sitting here thinking about Jay-Z, like, what you mean that's all she can get? I mean, how many women wouldn't want to be married to a man who's been in his role in his field long enough and strong enough to be a billionaire? Because that's what they're talking about. Because that story went all into cheating and all that other stuff, which did happen. But what that white woman said on that plane was not her husband isn't faithful. That's not what she said. She said, isn't he a gangster rapper? That's all she could get. I probably would have smacked the shit out that hoe. You're not talking about my son-in-law. Thank you. You're not talking about my son-in-law, the father of my grandchildren. No, you're not, bitch, because you about to find out in first class what's tea. See, but we allowed that story to go out and didn't even dig deep enough to find out that this whole thing was a racist situation because they don't like to see us together. They don't like to see us happy. They tried to run Jay-Z and Beyonce through the mud in the media for years, and they withstood every single last bit of it. Every single last bit of it. She told y'all her husband was cheating because if y'all found out, y'all would have drug her through the mud. So they was like, all right. And they made money off of it. You might as well. But listen, let's go back because now that I got that up off me and I don't have to keep them secrets no more, let's find out about this amazing documentary she about to put out. That the other fucking story, they use sound bites. This is the thing that fucking bugs me. She did a whole interview about this documentary. Okay. The other channel, the other show used sound bites from that interview and never even mentioned the documentary. If that's not evil, I don't know what is. So I had no choice but to report that video. I had no choice but to report it because it wasn't true.